There are a number of items that make Minter Ellison an attractive workplace for lawyers. I'm obviously going to talk from a national point of view, but also then quite specifically from a Sydney point of view, given that I'm the Sydney managing partner. I think we've got a very clear strategy. So we've got a 2020 strategy, which we've been very public about. We had a new CEO come in last year in 2014 in Tony Harrington, and he was very clear about where we're heading and what we're aiming for. And I think that's come through in the market. This year we, for example, appointed 17 new partners. We appointed more female partners than any law firm actually appointed new partners. And that, I think, sent a very strong message to the market that we do see opportunities, despite the doom and gloom that people talk about with the shrinking legal market. But we definitely see opportunities. And we don't just see opportunities in the traditional as-is environment. I think we're looking at doing things very differently, and that idea of trying to do things differently, I think, is coming across, and that message is coming across to both our clients, the business market, but also the talent market, which is really important to us. I think with our new CEO last year, we took on a new structure, which is very much about our own internal way of working, but that did allow for a lot of change in leadership and a lot of female leadership coming through, and a lot of other diverse leadership. So really, I don't think you'd look at Minters and say we're sort of the bastion of the white male Anglo-Saxon anymore, and I think that's been really attractive. I have weekly dinners with staff, and it's amazing how that concept, the diversity issue, is really important to them, and also just about the place that Minters is. And I think from a Sydney perspective, we've moved to new premises this year, which have been fantastic. It's allowed us to be so much more collaborative, so much more agile in the way we work. We have a stairwell that connects all 8 floors, and I think that's just allowed for those great interactions, whether it's in the stairwell or at a lot of the collaborative spaces we've got, and for people from different areas to interact with each other. So I think that's been really terrific. I don't think the premises of itself, though, is something that attracts people, but I think it certainly captures the kind of workplace that we want to be, which is collaborative and innovative and inspirational. Diversity is really important. It's absolutely the buzzword, and what it means to people will vary from group to group. I think there's been a recent trend to really think about diversity as gender, but diversity is so much more than that. In terms of gender diversity, that is still also important. I think Minters has had a great story to tell over the recent years with the number of different female leaders we've had in, whether it's boards roles or executive leadership teams, to office managing partners, staff partners. And I think having that broad cohort is important for our younger generations to be able to say it's not an isolated incident, but also to be able to say, I don't like the style of the way that person has got there or the way that person conducts their life, but to be able to take bits and pieces from everyone to find something that works for them. The other thing we've done is we've recently launched our Lgbti Initiative this year, and I think what's been exciting for me is seeing that led from both a top-up and a bottom-up perspective. And I think the ability to bring your whole self to the office at any time is really important, not just for career success, but also for happiness. If you have to watch every word you say for people to potentially read into something that you are concerned about, then there's just no ability to really be open and forthright with everything you need to do, I think, in one's day to really get the most out of it. The other issue, obviously, is not just LGBTI or gender. There's also religious and cultural, and I think the same idea of being able to bring your whole self to the office, and the difference of views and opinions that brings is really important. I mean, I think the best outcomes are one where you've had good discussion and good debate. If everyone's in heated agreement about something, you're often not necessarily going to get the best outcome. We've also run some Empower programs, pilots, and those have been enormously successful, and so we're now looking to roll those out at a broader level. And I think with diversity, it's also about allowing for different ways of working, to be honest. So the technology that we've adopted over the last year has, I think, made a huge difference for the way that people work, because I think diversity means you may have, elderly parents that you need to look after, or younger children that you need to look after, and it's not just about always being in the office, it's about doing what we need to do to be our client's best partner. But with the technology today, that doesn't necessarily mean, you've got a ball and chain at your desk. And the last thing I'd like to talk about is Talent Council. So Talent Council is something we've established over the last year, and our Talent Council has been set up to really look at talent, sort of attraction and retention for the future. We are a talent business, so our people really do matter to us. And I think it'll be really top of their mind as one of the things to look at will be diversity, and how we really walk the talk on diversity and don't just have a policy that isn't adhered to. I think people do go onto our websites and read policies. I know a number of people, when they're looking at a job, will go on and look at the various policies that the firm has, but the actual experience is as important as the policy.